Chapter 12, An Orator in a Red Jacket Speaks. At the very time that Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were crossing the Rocky Mountains, a group of Indians was gathered on the other side of the continent at Buffalo Creek in the state of New York. They were Iroquois of the Seneca tribe, and their leader was the most powerful orator, Segoyawatha. During the Revolutionary War, which all but the youngest remembered, the Iroquois had been divided. Some had fought on the American side, but others, like Segoyawatha, had fought bravely for the British. Because Segoyawatha wore a red English jacket in battle, the Americans called him Red Jacket. At the war's end, Chief Red Jacket did not flee to Canada as many Iroquois did. He stayed behind and was made to sign a treaty that gave much Indian land to the new nation. Now the Iroquois were being asked to give up their religion. Some preachers had come from Boston to convert the Indians to Christianity. The Senecas listened politely to the ministers. Then Segoyawatha, Red Jacket, replied. His voice was strong and mellow and beguiling. Fine speaking was a form of art and leadership to the Iroquois. This is what Segoyawatha said to the Christian ministers. Friends and brothers, this council fire was kindled by you. It was at your request that we came together at this time. We have listened with attention to what you have said. Brothers, listen to what we say. There was a time when our forefathers owned this great island. From the rising to the setting sun, the Great Spirit had made it for the use of the Indians. He had created the buffalo, the deer, and other animals for food. He had made the bear and the beaver. Their skins served for clothing. He had scattered them over the country and taught us how to take them. He had caused the earth to produce corn for bread. All this he had done for his red children because he loved them. But an evil day came upon us. Your fathers crossed the great water and landed on this island. Their numbers were small. They found friends and not enemies. They told us that they had fled from their own country for fear of wicked men and had come here to enjoy their religion. We took pity on them, and they sat down amongst us. The white people, brother, had now found our country. Tidings were carried back, and more came against us. Yet we did not fear them. We took them to be friends. They called us brothers. We believed them. At great length, their numbers had greatly increased. They wanted more land, and they wanted our country. Our eyes were opened, and our minds became uneasy. Wars took place. Indians were hired to fight against Indians, and many of our people were destroyed. They also brought strong liquor amongst us. It was strong and powerful and had slain thousands. That was all history. It was the tale of the past. Now, Segoyawatha began to talk of the present, and the preacher's mission. Brothers, our seats were once large and yours were small. You have now become a great people, and we have scarcely a place left to spread our blankets. You have got our country, but are not satisfied. You want to force your religion upon us. Brothers, continue to listen. You say that there is but one way to worship and serve the Great Spirit. If there is but one religion, why do you white people differ so much about it? Brothers, we also have a religion which was given our forefathers and has been handed down to us, their children. Brothers, we do not wish to destroy your religion or take it from you. We only want to enjoy our own. Brothers, we have been told that you have been preaching to the white people in this place. These people are our neighbors. We are acquainted with them. We will wait a little while and see what effect your preaching has upon them. If we find it does them good, makes them honest and less disposed to cheat Indians, then we will consider again of what you have said. The missionaries loved their religion and wanted to share it. Were they wrong? Were they right? More than a century earlier, Roger Williams had been able to love his religion and understand others too. But there weren't many people like Roger Williams around anywhere, nor were there many people like Sir William Johnson. He had been able to live in two worlds, that of the Indians and that of the white settlers. Most Americans didn't care what happened to Red Jacket and his people. The Iroquois had lost most of their land and power. Things would get worse for them. They were going to be pushed west and then pushed again. There would be promises and treaties, and they would be all broken. The new Americans wanted Indian land, and they did not know a fair way to share it. The Indians would lose most of their land, and no one realized that in 1805, which was when Red Jacket spoke, though perhaps some understood that the Native Americans would not give up their land easily. Terrible Indian wars lay ahead. If in 1805 the Iroquois and the Christian missionaries could have looked into a crystal ball with a 100-year vision, they would have seen the land west of the Appalachians filled with farms and cities. They would have seen new Americans living from coast to coast and the Native Americans squeezed onto reservations. That's what the land would be like in 1905. But if anyone had predicted that in 1805, he or she might have been thought crazy. The land west of the Mississippi seemed so vast that President Jefferson thought it would take thousands of years to fill.